Okay, so since we have not the idea uh, of the organization of the Office of the President, let's go now to the department. Okay, so we all know that each department or administrative agency is composed of secretaries, undersecretaries, and assistant secretaries. So unsa magikalainan ani with them? We always see them in the news, no? Or sa kanang mga interviews. Okay? So on page 37, you will see that the authority and responsibility for the exercise of the mandate of the department and for the discharge of its powers and functions shall be vested in the secretary, who shall have supervision and control of the department. Okay? So number one, the secretary of that department is vested with the authority and the responsibility to exercise the mandate of that department. Okay, so last meeting I mentioned before that each department is mandated to implement and administer a certain function or a certain area, no? Naa siya area, and each has its end goal, no? Depending on the law that created it. Okay? So, the secretary is given the authority and the responsibility to exercise that mandate of that department. And number two, of course, because he or she is the head of that department, no? He or she exercises supervision and control over the department and the members. Okay? How about the undersecretary? The undersecretary shall, among others, advise and assist the secretary in the formulation and implementation of department objectives and policies. Okay, so essentially mo assist and mo advise kita sa secretary. He shall temporarily discharge the duties of that secretary in the latter's absence or inability to discharge his duties for any cause or in case of vacancy of the said office unless otherwise provided by law. So there are times, class, nga dili available ang secretary, so we can see in the news, no, undersecretary or USEC usahay ang magpa-interview because I remember katong sa DOH bitaw, class, nga kanang tagahapon nga press conference sa DOH. There was a time nga na-quarantine si Secretary Duque of the DOH. So, ang nipuli class for the press con is the USEC, katong babae class na short hair, USEC. Forgot her name. Okay? So, that's an example. And third, who is the Assistant Secretary? Assistant Secretary or ASEC, no? They call them ASEC, USEC, shall perform such duties and function as may be provided by law or assigned to him by the secretary. Okay, so tulo sila, class. Secretary, the department secretary, the undersecretary, and the assistant secretary. Okay. For this meeting, class, I will give a classwork for us to be able to visualize really the organization of the Office of the President. No, I will give you sources, kanang website for you to be guided. But throughout this subject, I want us to be able to ma-familiar ganita, class, sa kanang departments and sa katong kinsay nag-lead sa mga department, kinsay mga secretaries, and what are their functions para we are able to relate po sa news, class, no? Okay? So, I'll post this video and then I'll post the sources, okay, for your classwork.